Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Judge That Verdicts. I'm Sean McMillan. Here's my co-host Richard Morrow.
What up, though?
McMillan and we have a guest.
We do. We got my boy Carey with us today, man.
Carey.
Oh man, I appreciate
Welcome,
that.
man.
Oh,
Good to
thank
have you.
thank
Good to have you. You're
good
kind
to
of
be-
famous out here.
Famous?
Yeah.
You know,
You
we
got
out
a lot
there
more
a little
followers than me.
bit. How many you got?
Not as many as you.
Hey, look, man. When people downplay they following, I'll be like, don't do that with me, because I actually want to know.
He don't even know, probably.
I don't even know.
He probably don't even look
Man.
for real.
I can,
If it's like two,
the difference is maybe, and I would be more than happy
He
with
wouldn't
my
care
two.
either way.
I could
I mean,
care
those
less
are the
about-
real supporters.
Ugh.
I'm probably one of them. Look.
Look.
Us two
I
right
know.
here.
Follow. Anyway, we're glad to have you tune in. We cover the sublime, sometimes the ridiculous, stories from around the world where people do really, insidious and sometimes good things.
Yeah, we got some feel-good stories in there usually every now and then, but most of them,
Under your belt, I already know.
yeah, most of them are a little bit all over
Well,
the
actually, what
place.
you consider to be feel good is never feel good.
Yeah, he don't usually end up feeling good after him. But I feel good watching his reaction.
Yeah,
so.
I'm like, that.
Damn.
What the hell is
Now I
that?
want to know.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a bunch of them.
Don't worry,
You'll see.
Carey. I like you already. I like you.
And Carey's from Detroit, so he's from the Midwest too.
Okay.
Oh, snap. Where you from?
New York. I don't know why he brought that up, but I'm
No,
from New
just so you can understand.
I mean,
you got
it's
two
the Midwest,
people,
East Coast.
York. Yeah, I lived in Chicago a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I went to grad school there, so
what's up.
maybe there's something there.
Yeah, you know.
But you have a good spirit.
Thank you.
I can tell.
I appreciate it.
If you didn't, I could tell that too.
Well, I do, and I can feel the energy in the room.
Yeah.
Too.
You know how it go.
It's good. Feel like family, you know.
It's
Come on,
definitely a
Morrow,
family
let's
over
go.
here. Y'all ready to dive into the first story? Okay, so according to Buzz, this is actually taking us to Australia, one of my places.
Yeah.
Why is that your
We won't say why. But keep going.
I just got some roots in Australia. We just gonna put it that way. According to Buzz, a study shows that women can smell the difference between single men and those with a partner. Do y'all think that's true?
smell?
They can
Smell?
smell the difference between single men and men that have partners.
This is according to a study?
This is according to a study.
Is this
They
supposed to be
studied 82 heterosexual women between the ages of 18 and 35, and they had them smell T-shirts worn by men after they had exercised as one of the studies, and 45 of the men were in relationships, 45 of the men were single. And the study showed that they were tasked with rating the men based off of their attractiveness on, their smell. And yeah, majority of women concluded that single men have more body odor than those in relationships.
What?
Can you believe that? I actually kind of do believe it.
Did they do this for the men?
I don't know if they did it the opposite way.
I want to know them studies.
Right.
Well, it's actually an unuseful skill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the important thing is, can you smell a liar? Right?
Well,
Yeah.
Smelling somebody is single or not. That's not even
That don't
half,
matter.
That's not even half the battle.
Even
It's
if
like,
he
what are they
married.
telling you?
right.
Even if he married.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, that's first of all, I don't. Who did this study?
I mean, it was Australia. It was,
Yeah.
let's see. It says researchers. We're not going to get into details.
Yeah, I'm not.
I mean, that's not like, you know.
It said that the researchers determined that the body odor of single men was more pungent to the women than the sweat of those who were in relationships.
And what does that mean?
So meaning that the single women were just way more affected by this odor than the other ones. So, I mean,
I want to hear what he got to say.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
curious to know how you feel about that. But do you think that it could play a factor because, when you're in a relationship with somebody, you usually want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself a little bit more than you probably would if you weren't going to be seeing somebody.
That's
every
probably
day.
more what it is.
I think that's probably the case.
When you with somebody, you don't want to be smelling, musky.
Maybe
When
a
you're single,
girl that
you
be
ain't
with you
worried.
for 18 years and never in front of you.
Man.
That's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother fascination, which we might get
which
to.
is actually amazing that you bring it up there.
You know, yeah.
We're not going to act like it's off limits. It's definitely not off
That's
limits.
actually a very interesting point.
I mean, it's like, women be scared to even poot in front of you. So
Yeah.
It's just like,
Yeah, I mean, until you can smell character, smelling singleness just doesn't sound like an
how do you
accomplishment.
smell
to me.
character?
You can't. That's the point.
Oh, you said it like you knew.
Start that first.
I'm like, how do you do that? I'm trying to find out.
You know, smelling singleness.
One of the researchers wrote, and I quote, "From an evolutionary perspective, it may be advantageous for women to be able to detect the chemo signals that connote coupledom and ultimately avoid courting partnered males that have children or offspring and, eventually could lead to them being more stressed out because of."
That's ridiculous.
I think they're stretching it.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, I mean,
That's a huge stretch.
It's a stretch.
Putting a lot of trust in a smell.
do you think somebody's smell changes when they start cheating?
That cracks you up, dude. Look
Because that was one of the questions that I was talking about before that I may use that.
Damn.
No.
You don't think
Wait,
so?
re-answer that question.
Do you think somebody's smell changes when they start cheating?
Women can probably definitely
pH
smell.
levels start changing.
Yeah, I think they become some kind of like superhero FBI agent.
Their
Well,
chemical balance.
Here's what I think. I think what happens is behaviors change.
Behavior more than
Responses change.
Well, that's true.
anything.
You know, and we've all been around people
And it's
Yeah.
the tiniest thing.
who are lying.
Yeah,
and you,
yeah.
and when you look back on it, you realize I should have saw that. I should have saw that.
It starts to line up.
because the behavior changes.
Right.
Yeah. So not of course not the smell, but
Yeah.
listen.
But in relationships, and I know this may be on or off, let's just say y'all not really having sex a lot. That's a change of behavior, but it may
For
be
sure.
like you just don't
Absolutely.
feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
So some women take it as, why you cheating? Why you don't want to have sex? Like, we can't feel like we don't want to do it today? Nah.
Nah.
Said, no, it's not possible for you. You want to do it today.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, no, I'm getting older.
No, but that's actually an important point, because here's what happens, is that people change behavior without conversation, and if you give people a story, they'll line up with you twice as fast when you put the behavior in context.
Yeah.
And we don't do that. We just do something, and we expect it to explain itself.
And I feel like naturally as humans, we fill in those blanks when we don't have a story attached to something. And there's no telling what you may fill those blanks in with. You know what I mean? You got your own crazy history of,
Right.
things that you've been through that
Right.
have nothing to do with the person that
Right.
you assuming about.
Right. Right.
And that's where I think a lot of the conflict ends up coming in, because you're like, where is this coming from if you're the
Well,
accused?
people get energy from one thing and then bring it to you.
Yeah. No,
So, like, if you had a
100%.
bad day at work, now you bringing this energy home.
Right.
No.
Right. And then the other person is creating out of that energy a narrative that represents who they are. Mm-hmm. And it may not have anything to do with the truth. It's like what you said.
Yeah.
Someone deciding I don't want to always do whatever with you. It may have nothing to do with the other person. It's just where I am in life.
Yeah.
So what's the verdict on this whole females being able to detect single men odor situation? Do you think it
I just
actually
think-
is valuable?
I just
or
think
not?
our women haven't, they advanced in something.
they haven't. They do talk about women's intuition, being something that's like of a sixth sense.
Advanced.
They advanced.
But do you think that they have that capability?
No.
If they do, it's a wasted capability.
It's a waste. It's wasted.
Totally wasted gift.
It brings me
Totally
It
wasted.
reminds me of something when I was younger, and this is a little bit different, but my mom, I used to believe she had a superpower, because she told me that whenever I lied, a little blue dot would show up on my forehead. And she said this because she knew I could never see my own forehead. So therefore, I just had to take her word for it. When I
ain't
was
never looked
younger,
in the
I
mirror?
actually believed her. And
I have no idea what's
I felt like it
happening
was
right now.
kind of genius, but that goes to say they don't have superpowers. Women aren't.
No, that's called good parenting.
It was good parenting.
Yeah, that's
and
what
she
that's
got
called.
me good because I truly, for years,
Well, the
thought
only thing I believe
would
that my
happen.
mama told me was if she said if you look cross-eyed, you get stuck like that. I still believe
I
it.
remember that too.
That's also called good parenting. Y'all had good mamas. That has nothing to do with the women in Australia smelling somebody who's single.
That's not here.
No, it was
That's
in Australia.
So you're okay.
Well, that's why.
Yeah. So you're okay.
I thought women was doing that here.
No.
It probably will be eventually, though. Who
No.
knows?
It's
Maybe
not
when they
a
hear
real thing.
Yeah.
I don't care what they say in Australia.
Yeah, you're not buying it.
No.
All right, that's the verdict.
I want to smell liars.
Yeah,
Yeah, all the cologne I wear, you could smell
you
it.
would be able to smell it.
You smell that.
He smells engaged.
Make a video about
most
that.
of my smell would be annoyed.
He smells annoyed.
That's my default setting. Like,
Like,
what are we doing?
She smell mad.
He smell angry.
I'm good.
That was
a
funny.
good one. That was a
That
good
was
one.
funny.
Oh, on to the next
Carrie
one.
can stay.
He can stay. He can stay.
You get the hell out, Tyler. Carrie can stay.
So this is actually a World Cup story. So you know Argentina, they won the World Cup recently. It was a really, really big deal for Argentina.
And I never watch it, but
Okay, so yeah, Argentina won. In case you was wondering,
it's all over the internet.
according to the Daily Star, after this recent win, a player, Julian Alvarez, he has a girlfriend that's super popular. They're a really, really famous couple from the team, and a video went viral of him partying after the celebration or during the celebration of them winning, and his girlfriend was kind of preventing him from interacting with different groups of fans. Well, you know how social media can be. People got behind this, and they started petitioning for him to break up with his girlfriend, and there was literally a petition that was signed by over 20,000 people for him to break up with his girlfriend for not letting him celebrate with all the random fans that were out there. And there's no signs of him actually doing it, but this was a real thing, and it kind of shows the entitlement of a generation, thinking that they have the right to
do what you got to do.
Hey. But do you think, as somebody with a platform, or you know how it is to have fans and to have the support of people that support your career and whatever you're doing, do you think that people take it too far in taking their fans' advice and what they assume that they should do just because they're their fans?
Yeah.
Or do you feel like
So you can't ask me that kind of question.
I know you don't care.
I mean,
But you've worked with
he's
people.
much more engaged.
But you've worked with people that have dealt with this.
Yeah, I have, but I'm not the person to ask
Because you're going to give a heart.
because I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
I do not care.
I mean,
That's very true.
I mean, for a person that doesn't, I do, and I feel that way.
Yeah.
Well, I don't call any fans. Any fans.
Yeah.
They my supporters, because you can tell the difference between fans and supporters. Fans is just people that be like, I seen your video,
Yeah.
and be like, sometimes they'll mix me up with somebody.
Yeah.
I was like, what's up,
true.
King Bash? That's not me. I'm
So those are fans. You gotta
Those are
realize
fans.
Okay.
Supporters is like, man, I've been watching you for the last 8 years, man. Keep grinding.
Yeah.
Those are the people I find supporters.
And do you take with that their, opinions and things a little bit?
It depends,
You know,
because you don't want to take everybody's advice.
Absolutely not.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
But for the people, like, when I put up a video and I watch the comments, what I learned from that is other people's perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
So when I see what they actually thought was funny
Yeah.
over what I thought was funny, I'm like, oh, I didn't even think that was funny until I see it.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I've seen that they see it a certain way, I learned that way.
Okay.
But instead of like taking it and making it a full thing, I just see the difference for a
Yeah.
minute.
You don't adopt their own opinions and
Yeah.
think for yourself, as you should.
Right.
We were just talking about that on our last episode a little bit.
Right, because people, they'll be crazy doing shit they listening to their fans.
Oh yeah, no, but there are people out there that do.
Yeah.
There's people taking inquiries every day for crazy, stunts and pranks and videos with people and putting their life in jeopardy
They should've
because
never-
their fans told them to.
I'm
And
not one of those people, and I think
Yeah.
those 20,000 people have nothing to do with their lives than to sit around and to
let me tell
manage
you-
somebody else's relationship and what they should be doing. I don't understand that. Like
Yeah.
that to me is a foreign way of being in the
Right.
world.
I think it's really out of touch with reality. Most of these people don't give a damn.
Can I push back?
Go ahead.
I don't think they're out of touch with reality. I think that they don't value their own lives enough to be sufficiently invested in who the hell they are.
That's
You know what I'm
true.
saying?
To let people that they don't know be steering the ship.
I mean,
Yeah.
we all have people that we admire, right? Celebrities, whoever it is, singers, LeBron, Chris Brown, Beyonce,
Yeah.
whoever it is, right? You love these people. That's fine. But to the degree that what these people are doing
Yeah.
has so enthralled you that now you think you have the right or the privilege to decide what they should be doing
Yeah.
as opposed to managing what you're doing?
You think
Right.
it's an entitlement?
It's
thing?
like when people tell you to stay in
Lack
your
of
lane.
value. Say that again?
It's like when people tell you to stay in your lane.
Yeah.
If Kevin Hart stayed in his lane of just doing stand-up comedy, he wouldn't be who he is today. He does movies. He does a lot more stuff than just stand-up. Stand-up is just one of his strongest suits. And people be like, stick to it. Just like if LeBron was to retire from the NBA, they would be like, you shouldn't do nothing else but play basketball. I'm old now. I need to do something else.
Yeah.
You don't know what he planned on doing with his life. And some people like Rihanna, who just did music to get to where she at, they want her to keep doing music. But now she made something that made her even richer. And
Right.
and this is something she always wanted to do from the beginning,
Yeah.
because music probably wasn't her happy suit.
See, and what you're saying is actually quite valuable because we all have the right to evolve.
Yeah.
We all have the right to change and to change our minds. And sometimes the hardest part about being successful is that the people, to use your word, who supported you in one season of your development may not understand you in another season of your
Oh,
development.
no.
Ain't that the truth?
But you've got to have the courage
Right.
to grow
Right.
because it's your commitment to yourself,
Yeah.
and
I've even told him, though, like, I'm trying to transition from a social media influencer to an actor. It's not going to be easy for everybody because everybody going to be like, this is not your lane.
right.
Yeah.
But people aren't used to change.
Right.
It's like a flip phone. We all want to stick with the flip phone, but nobody want an iPhone. It's like, I don't want to have to learn this new phone. I learned that from all my parents. They was like, I do not want to learn that phone.
Yeah.
But I'm a person that likes to adapt to change. So if something is changing, I'm adapting to it. But that's what a lot of people
Well,
in
change
this
is a
generation.
compliment. It's
Yeah.
a compliment.
Exactly.
It's the universe's way of saying you're ready for more.
It shouldn't
Yeah.
be associated
And-
with anything negative just because
It's
we
like, I'll
change.
never
We are doing many of the things that we do to be able to change for the better.
But bring it back to the story. If you have 20 million people who love what you do right now,
Yeah.
and they're addicted to what you do right,
Right
now,
now.
but you feel the need to evolve and to grow and to go a different way. To use your example, LeBron wants to do whatever, Rihanna, whatever. Do you have the not? Do you proverbially? Do you have the courage?
To still,
To fight through.
Anybody can change when you fail,
yeah.
but who can change when you win?
Right.
I've seen that in certain cases. Matt McConaughey, the actor, actually, he went through that and took a real big risk and, basically a backseat in his career for a little while because they kept on wanting to put him in all these rom-com, type situations. And we all know how amazing of an
killed it.
actor. I hope we all can agree on that.
He
Yeah.
killed every single one.
But yeah, he kills
he
everything
get
he
tired of
does.
it.
But that was the thing. When people got so used to that, they assumed that was all that he was capable of doing. He wanted things more juicy. And now when we know Matt McConaughey, you look at the things he's done. He's done Interstellar. He's done Dallas Buyers Club. He's done so many different movies that are so deep and so much more than just surface level stuff that people,
see,
if he listened to his fan base, would have had him stuck in and probably unhappy doing the rest of it. He said he didn't get a job for a little while. I can't remember how long he said it was, but it's just like what you were saying. When things were going right, he was on top of the world. He could have kept making millions of dollars doing the same thing, but he had the courage to change what he wanted about himself to evolve. And now he's one of the, arguably one of the, most notable actors.
They said the same thing about Will Smith. he did Fresh Prince, and they just thought that was his lane until he did that episode about his dad.
Yeah.
And then they like, oh, he's a dramatic actor? He always had it in him, but it just took that moment for him to really
For
like
people
feel
to
that moment.
catch on, yeah. A lot of times we know before other people do, right? We know ourselves better than our 20, however many fans could ever.
But I like to surprise people.
Yeah.
Because I do a whole bunch of stuff just to surprise, and they be like, you can do that too?
I was just thinking Will should have listened to his fans. This is one incident where Will should have listened to his fans and sat his ass down.
Don't talk about Will like
Wait,
that.
hold on. What would you do if you was in that situation?
Which situation? Be specific.
Him being in that situation with Chris Rock.
Saying if I was Will,
Yeah.
oh, you know,
I'll tell you mine.
well, let me hear yours.
Well, I said, we all don't know Will personally, but a lot of people say he held a lot of anger inside him, and that was just his moment of lashing out. I wouldn't have did that on national TV. I would have waited till after and probably slapped him.
For me, it's an eye for an eyelash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing about Jada, and there should be nothing about their marriage that can't withstand a joke.
Yeah.
That too.
That's a good point. Especially in the positions that they're
Yeah.
in.
I
At
mean,
this point, too.
Yeah, I mean, just think of the indignities that we have to suffer.
And the joke wasn't really that disrespectful.
And the joke was not actually that
We've
disrespectful.
heard
It wasn't.
worse.
It
Way
wasn't.
worse. I mean,
It
there's way
wasn't.
worse things they could have said.
Yeah.
You know.
That's one thing I would, if it was worse, what
Yeah,
he
no.
said, then would have been a different conversation.
Yeah.
I would have at least had a conversation with
Yeah.
him at the end, like,
You should be able to
that
have a
wasn't really
conversation
cool.
with
Shit,
anybody.
I thought it was funny, but that wasn't really cool.
Right. Clearly, there are better ways to handle it. And the best way to handle something like that is to not give people any reaction at all.
Yeah. Sometimes the best reaction is no reaction.
I mean, if he'd have sat there and just looked at him and just,
Because you think
we wouldn't even be having this
what you
conversation.
think Denzel would have did?
Oh, you would have sat there and probably gave him a look.
no, what Denzel would have did when he won his Oscar, he'd have said, and about that joke.
Yeah, you would have adjusted then.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a great moment to use.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And
That's
about
when you
that
have to-
joke.
Yeah.
And then you can control the narrative from there.
How about we not make fun of black women in public?
And that's all it had to be.
And about that joke.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
And they would have got the message. Chris would have got the message loud and clear. The producers would have got
somebody would have watched his last movie.
And maybe one of the producers would have got fired, you know?
Not everything is a joke.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
That's good.
That's a good one. Let's go on to the next story. It's in L.A. actually. This next one, and kind of surprising, I guess. According to NBC News, there's been an arrest of over 7 cops in the LAPD, and it's been a reminder of them not to drink and drive because they're all DUIs. So cops are getting arrested for DUIs, and they're the ones.
I'm
that
about
are-
to get in trouble in this
yeah,
episode.
and they're the ones that are supposed to be upholding the law.
Yeah, I mean, I listen first, just for what do you call it? Full disclosure. My sister is a police officer in
Yeah.
New York. She's a detective. So I'm not a hate.
I assume she's one of the good ones, though. So
I hope. I don't go to work with her.
I don't know.
I know who she is when she comes
yeah,
home.
yeah.
But which leads me to my point. You know, I think a lot of police officers think that they're above the law. That
Yeah.
It doesn't apply to them. You know, it applies to us, but not to them.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's just 7.
It was 2 weeks, though. I mean, if you give it a month, that's already 14, 15 people. That's a lot. And it says some of the arrests followed traffic collisions that allegedly caused injuries.
That's crazy.
And
That is. It just adds to the already mounting evidence that there's something wrong with policing.
And it says that it's been going on for years. It says that, off-duty cops have had a persistent issue in the LAPD with driving under the influence.
Now let's try to see it from their perspective, just to be fair. It is an immensely stressful job.
Yeah.
You get people at their worst. Nobody calls the police because they're happy.
Yeah.
Man, I was just watching a movie on Netflix with that. Just the people who you call when you dial
Dispatch.
911. It's just they have them.
The most stressful. Oh, you're talking about the Jake Gyllenhaal movie?
Yeah.
You were. Have you ever? You know what he's
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about?
yeah. I saw that movie.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's a good
yo, he had to chill in the office, just like, man, let me calm down. He taking his anger out on everybody he working with, and
meanwhile you're trying to do the right thing.
Somebody could die in the next second. You on the phone with them, like you don't know.
So with that in mind, you begin to understand how you could have people abusing alcohol when you're dealing with that kind of stress.
Right.
It doesn't permit it. It doesn't make it
excuse
good.
it.
But
so
it doesn't have to be good to be understandable.
And because we do understand it, it raises the question to me, should police be held to higher standards than civilians when off duty, or should they receive harsher punishments or less harsh punishments? What do you think? Do they get treated the exact same as we do? Some people obviously don't have to be police officers to have high-stress jobs, so I don't think that should be an excuse personally. But do you think that they should be held to a higher degree because they are law enforcement and they're still breaking the law, knowing and being highly educated and trained on the law and still doing it as well?
I mean,
what you think?
For sure.
Yeah. So you think that they should get harsher on it?
It's like,
yeah. So I mean,
but
you're supposed to be
why?
an expert.
Why do you think that?
I mean, even though everybody goes through stuff, no matter where you at or who you are. So I feel like when you have a job like that, you're supposed to take it way more, like, you're just supposed to take it more in mind. Like, you can't do that.
But see, here's what I hear you saying. It's not just a job. Being a police officer,
life.
It's gotta be a lifestyle.
It's a way of being in the world. It's a vocation. So you're never really off. You may not be responding to calls, but you're never really a cop. You're really not a cop.
Yeah.
You're always what you are. So I think he's right. I mean, I think just because you're not on duty doesn't mean that you get to.
Because you would expect if a cop were off duty and something were happening in the same, instance as if they were on duty, that they would do their job the same way and help and protect.
Well, they're required to.
They are.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was.
A cop can't see somebody breaking into
something
nothing
illegal and not
be
do
like,
it.
you know what, I don't feel like it.
Even if they're off duty. See, I didn't know that they were obligated. I really didn't.
Dirty.
Just like Spider-Man.
My damn
like, I'm not
feet hurt.
Spider-Man no more.
After 5 o'clock, I'm no longer Spider-Man. So
I'm not
feet hurt.
Spider-Man right now.
So you think that they should be held to a higher standard or no?
I just want them to be held to a standard.
Period.
Yeah.
I mean, they got to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
You chose
because,
that job.
Yeah. And you should definitely always be walking. It should be a lifestyle thing, in my opinion.
No, it's a choice to have that job.
Yeah. And I think it comes down to character
That's a
at
good
the end of the
point.
day. What do they say about character? It's who you are when people aren't watching. And just because you don't have your supervisor on you or you don't have a body cam on, it doesn't mean that you should just be doing whatever.
Well, lawyers can't break the law.
Yeah.
And judges can't break the law.
Yeah, you're right. So
Right.
cops shouldn't be able to
So
either.
a cop should expect the same response of the law that a judge or a lawyer would
Yeah.
Even even with a higher, like, just,
You think they should really
people
be
just got to
punished
pay
more?
attention because you got the gun.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah,
They're usually,
that definitely changes the equation.
It definitely does.
When you get to walk around with a gun, you got to have a different level of
You
responsibility.
got the weapon.
They
You
should
could just be like,
definitely
Judge,
be-
I don't agree. I'm like,
So I think that
gave
they
him a
should
gun?
be punished a little bit harsher personally after hearing what y'all said personally.
if you
Just
got
to
a
stop
gun,
them
then
from,
yes.
because there's obviously been a problem with, the police in America.
But let me push back. I don't think the issue is whether or not they should be punished at a certain level. I think the issue is what is going on with the LAPD that you have representative 7 officers who are actively alcoholics.
Yeah.
Like every once in a while, it's like, all right, that's normal. But you saying 7?
7 in 2 weeks.
Right, that's the issue. Because I always say, right, you can treat the symptom or you can treat the cause.
Yeah.
And we need to figure out what the hell is
Cause
going
is.
on.
Yeah. I
Are
agree
they
with
7
that.
in the same building?
Right. That's crazy. That's kind of wild to think about, yeah. It's like, man, you look at the pace of that, it's crazy how many you could end up having in a year if you was just
Just
keeping
need to
that
close
pace.
down the police station.
Yeah, ain't gonna have no more police officers. Okay, so moving forward, we're gonna go down to Florida, my spot.
Everywhere seemed to be your spot.
Well, Florida and Australia are notoriously my spots. But so according to Local 10, a man was overheard by his neighbors telling a person inside his home that he was going to kill him with kindness. The neighbor approaches the home, asks him if they can keep the noise down. Suspect raises a knife that he calls kindness and threatens the neighbor. Another neighbor had to step in and to protect him, and the first man was actually cut by the machete. So the machete actually had the words kindness written on it. Can you believe? Now police do.
Let me ask you a question.
He was trying to run a
He didn't die.
No. How did you feel reading and saying that?
I felt crazy saying it, but that's the reality of what.
I thought you was telling me a joke, like you was on
That's
stage.
a real
I'm like,
story.
did you?
That's a real story. Police say the suspect smelled of alcohol, was arrested. He was kicking and banging his head inside of the vehicle, so it sounds like some mental issues going on here.
I'm gonna kill you with kindness.
Yeah, he ended up getting charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without the intent to kill.
He got
and
the
aggravated
weapon.
battery.
That's
Florida.
I'm not gonna say it's funny, but
That's
messed
crazy.
up.
Yeah.
Florida. It's Florida. You know how many Florida stories we've done like that? What the
Ain't
hell's
Florida-
going on in
Ain't
Florida?
Florida the ones that had the zombies?
Yeah, that was the bath salts too, where people was eating bath salts and eating each other's faces. That was a crazy period of time. Oh my Lord.
Oh wow.
I almost forgot about that.
I don't know what the hell y'all are talking about.
You ever hear about the stories with the bath salts?
Man, no. Bath salts.
Yeah.
Well, they had
you
a
remember
they had
that?
a period where people were eating each other. That's
Yeah, they
all
would
I
be eating
know.
each other's faces, and like it was like some real
This is a
Walking
real
Dead.
thing?
This was like 10 years ago, maybe longer. You can Google it,
I won't be Googling.
or I'll just bring it in. I'll bring it in. I'll bring it in on the next episode.
Yeah, but you can Google it. I got better things to do with Google. Google.
Google.
Show me an article about people eating other people's faces.
So if he was in your courtroom and you found out that he cut somebody with a knife named kindness and all these things, do you think that that's 100% intentional and that he's a threat to society and needs to be put, behind bars permanently because of mental issues, or do you think that this is something that could be cured maybe in rehabilitation somewhere? Or
Well, I mean,
Sounds-
actually, you're speaking in jest, but it's actually a complicated question
It is.
because jail is not always the best place to put somebody.
I don't think so either.
With mental illness.
Nope.
They end up getting worse and they end up becoming more of a problem.
Yeah.
And we haven't figured out in this country, not to be all serious, but we haven't figured out in this country how to deal with mental illness.
Yeah,
We
no.
haven't quite figured out what
It's
to
still
do.
a relatively new thing that's being accepted by society. And
Well, that's debatable, but
Publicly, I feel.
But the point is, we don't know what to do about people
Yeah.
who clearly have a problem, right? And clearly are not criminal in the sense that they are willfully so.
Yeah.
But they just not there.
not there fully.
But you'd be surprised, and here's where it's less serious. You'd be surprised at how mildly crazy most of the people in your life happen to be.
Yeah, you just don't know
no.
it.
Yeah.
I've experienced it.
He's like, I need no convincing.
I was like, damn.
He's like, I believe it.
I was like, I thought my parents was nice.
Oh, I knew my mama was crazy at an early age.
I was like, I thought a lot of people was nice until you see them mad. My best friend, I ain't know how bad. Well, I knew he could box and he an athlete and stuff, but seeing him mad, if I tried to
Changed
stop him,
everything.
he beat my ass. I was like, man, that's a person that really like take fighting to a whole nother level.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm like, oh yeah, if he want to fight, he fighting.
they say you don't really know somebody until you do something they don't like, right? Ain't that the phrase?
Well, it's the one I use.
I mean, that's the one to use.
Yeah, I think that's very true. You don't really find out somebody's true colors until you do something they don't like and see how they react and handle that.
But a lot of people are sensitive.
But
Oh,
this,
yeah.
but this is a little different. This
is.
isn't about somebody doing something that you don't like.
It's-
This is about you discovering that a lot of people that we put a little too much confidence and trust in are not completely wrapped up
Yeah.
and stable in the way that we would wish.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, though. And when you see somebody's crazy, like that little thing that you could go,
Something.
you got to immediately recognize and acknowledge what you see
And believe it.
because now you know.
Yeah.
But how do you confront it?
Sometimes you don't. Sometimes the best way to confront something is just to observe
Yeah,
it.
take a mental note and know next time.
I
Yeah,
mean,
just-
that's the worst part about me is that I do that.
You confront or take a
No,
mental note.
I take my step back
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
just
how I
learn who
approach
they are.
No, that's not the worst part about you. That's a great thing about
Yeah,
you.
it's a good
Well,
thing. If you confronted everybody, if we lived our lives confronting everything that we felt was unjust,
people hate me for that.
We probably wouldn't have no friends.
I'm so blunt for no reason.
Yeah.
And people be like, why did you have to tell me that? Because I needed to.
Sometimes.
And because I've been watching you.
Yeah, I see it. It's
I've been watching your ass, taking mental notes.
You can't tell me no different.
And I'm about to tell you what I see.
I'm telling you what I see.
And there's
maybe
nothing
other
wrong
people
with telling people what you see, because sometimes people really don't know, and they've never had somebody with the courage to actually speak up.
Well,
to
one
them.
thing that's always been a problem with me is communication.
Yeah, you think you struggle with
Until
that?
I'm blunt. And then I'm like, until I don't like something, I may say something about it. But with women, it's a lot harder.
Yeah.
Because you can say a lot of things you don't like. And they be like, what? I'm like, no, you got to understand. Because a lot of people, like especially women, they want us to understand them. But they don't really take the time to understand us, too. But I ain't going to get into that. That's a whole other.
Sounded personal.
But I'm going to push back, okay? I agree with everything you're saying. The pushback is we can't ask people, anybody, to understand us if we won't put who we are into language.
True.
If you don't give people a conversation, then it's impossible for them to understand what it is we most want to communicate.
Yeah. It works
And,
both
and,
ways.
and I'm not talking about necessarily us,
Yeah.
but most men, and in some cases women, we are horrible. Horrible. Now, because most men only talk when we don't have much to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When a man really has something to say,
It'd be the hardest thing.
we get silent. We go inward, and we can't get out.
But it'd be hard because some people can talk to they can talk to women, and some people can't take it, but they just don't get it no matter how many times you explain it.
And that's the two-way street, though.
Well, that's the
effective
wrong woman.
communication. Yeah.
Let's just start there.
Because it's one thing to communicate, but there's also communication that comes with comprehension. You have to be speaking to somebody that's going to be able to comprehend what you're saying. Sometimes it's about how you say it, the tone you say it in, sometimes it matters, whatever. But I think it's definitely like a two-way street where, like you said, you got to communicate, but also you got to be aware of who you're talking to, too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it has to be a
but I will go
dialogue
back to your
going
point.
back and forth.
You smoothed this over nicely.
I'm trying to make
But
him not.
I want to go back to your point because I think it's far more interesting.
Yeah.
And that is, it's the wrong person because nobody can love a mystery forever.
Right.
You can't love a conundrum for the rest of your life.
is
At
true.
some point, you want to roll over and say, "I know this person,"
Yeah.
Right.
or I'm known.
Yeah. Because
This
you be
person-
thinking in your head like, you really don't know me.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna last.
That's one of the worst feelings in the
I
world.
don't care how big your breasts are. That ain't gonna last. It's not gonna last. All right.
But I
I'm done.
think it's always one of those things where, especially I've heard it from women that I've dated, and then they all say, you gotta talk to me to give me a chance. If you don't talk to me and give me that chance, then I can't even change how you want me to. But if I'm explaining to you exactly how I want you to, and you still don't get it, then like what you said, it's the wrong woman.
That's the moment when you find out this might not be working.
Yeah.
Because-
but then you got to go into that conversation.
Conversation.
then
But
it's
that's
like-
being an adult. It's tough conversations. It's part of being an adult.
But let me tell you about, especially people I've dealt with in the past. Like people are afraid to be alone. So no matter how many times you tell them
that's
that
a
this ain't working out, we have to do something. It's gonna make you a better person. They still don't want to lose you, especially if you're a great person. Because in a relationship, the other person is completely free. They can do whatever they want. And if something bad happens and I find out about it, then that's different. But for the most part, you can do whatever you want. So any woman will feel free with me as far as that. But if you don't let me feel that, then that's a problem.
Yeah, it's not fair. That's a good point.
No man should feel like he in a cage that's waiting to get out.
Yeah, and vice versa. Nobody
Because
should.
women treat marriage.
I would love to
or
hear our audience
relationships.
thoughts on that as well. If you guys
I'm
want
thinking about this.
A lot of people treat relationships like, and it's messed up, but it's like if a pet wears a collar, that's like our ring. They're claiming us from that. So a lot of women like, you're mine. But why do I have to be yours? Like, you already know I'm yours. We got a title and everything, but y'all claiming people like that's your pet.
Yeah, and not
Take
giving
the
them
ring
space
off.
to fully be themselves.
When
You
a
gotta
dog
give
takes
them-
his collar off,
Let
he's
me
free.
push back because if there was a woman here,
She would be.
I'm
Well, I would love to hear that.
I'm sure she would say that she would not claim any man as a pet.
Well, yeah.
But what she would probably say, and again, obviously I'm not a woman, is that relationships, monogamy, commitment, there is a certain claiming of each other where we belong to each other.
Yeah.
And what I hear you getting at, I'm just going to embellish what I hear you saying, is the problem is that's all it is.
Yeah.
We belong to each other.
Exactly.
Think about Coretta and Martin.
Right.
They belong to each other,
Right.
but they belong to each other for a greater purpose.
Exactly.
It wasn't just you're mine and I'm yours. We're together because we believe in this.
Love is a word. It's not.
We're
even-
trying to do
we're not
something
even
greater.
using it no more.
And I think that if as long as relationships are about just having someone,
Yeah.
Well, I tell any girl, like, you have to be my best friend.
Yeah.
If you're not my best friend in this relationship, we will not last.
Yeah, I've always felt ideally what we search for in our partners or significant others is the same thing that we search for in our best friends, and the same qualities. This person that you can confide in, person that you don't get sick of being around, person that you can fully be yourself with, which is what it sounds like you know, have had the issue with, is feeling like, you know, you give other people that space, but you don't feel like you necessarily always get it in return.
Yeah, people love space. I give people their space because you can't have people there 24/7. I've had the relationships where everything was 24/7.
Yeah,
And it
it's
just
not
would not
healthy.
work.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
think
like,
that's healthy.
I don't feel like I
It
have
works
to
for
be
some people,
every
but-
single moment of your life.
Yeah.
Like, go have fun. Go do something. If you want to go fly to Vegas with your girls, do that. Like, just have fun.
Yeah.
Everything doesn't have to be about us. I understand about creating memories, families, and all that, but life is not all about that.
yeah, I agree with that.
I agree.
But I'm gonna push back on the best friend idea though,
Okay.
because I think you have a best friend and that's their job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I think the job of the person that you're with is to be someone who complements your greatness, someone who has the ability to bring something to that mixture beyond friendship.
That
Yeah,
turns
no,
into
friendship
something.
is friendship is just the top 3 for me.
Yeah, it feels like the foundation, honestly. You start, you know, you need to have that at least. If you don't have that at least, I think it's very tough. But it should definitely be a lot more than just that, is what you sounds like you're saying too. And I feel personally that it should definitely be what he said as well. Like, you know, if you have, you know, this mixture that is already great, a partner, significant other, you know, should be somebody that takes that greatness and turns it to excellence.
Shoot, most
You
of the
know?
stuff he's saying, I'm gonna believe because he got more experience.
He's like, I believe because he's old. He's
No,
old.
it's called more experience.
It's the wisdom. It's the wisdom.
It's like with my little brother, I've been where he was at.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, it's a funny situation. But he's with a girl, or he was with a girl he was super in love with, and she didn't have all the greatest looks. But you know, we
See how he
was.
said that?
Yeah, I was so.
He has the greatest
He tried to
looks.
be nice about
But
it.
the thing is he was in love with her. So it didn't matter about looks. It was the personality. And I said, well, we all been there.
Yeah.
It's like we was all in love, and people was telling me like, I don't think she the one, bro. And
Because
I'm
of
like,
their
why?
opinion.
It's like, cause she don't, you know. I'm like, I don't care. I love her.
Yeah.
So we all been in that situation, but now, you know, society and this generation has changed,
Yeah.
and they look for looks before they even get to know who the person is.
Yeah. And that's a problem in itself.
That's why
We don't even have
BBLs and all this stuff is out now.
to- Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Read something.
Read something. All right, a
About to
feel
talk
good
about
story. It's going to be
butt
our
lifts.
last one. We're going to wrap this up on this
Let's talk
one
about butts.
before we start diving into BBLs. So, feel good story to wrap this up. A great grandmother earned her degree after 71 years. So she started college 71 years ago and finally got her degree from Northern Illinois University. She's 90 years old. She started at the university in 1951. Started a family, left school, told her grandchildren she regretted never finishing school. She attended the campus online, and yeah.
Well, that's the
she made it
impressive
happen.
part. That she's 90-something years old and she could be online.
Yeah.
That's the part I'm impressed with.
Damn.
Exactly.
Yep.
Well, she accomplished a goal.
She definitely did.
It's a lifetime goal from what it sounds
And to be honest, it's an example. It says that, it says she has 17 grandchildren and 24 great-grandchildren.
So she was busy in the intervening
Ooh,
years.
that's what she said. She left school to start a family. She started her family, all right. But
let me ask you this:
I'm about to use the miles on this.
the Greek god for opportunity.
which one? You telling me? Oh, okay. I thought you were. Okay. Go ahead.
This is what he does.
Go ahead.
The Greek god for opportunity is always pictured a certain way. Do you know what it is?
The God for opportunity. Which one would be the one for opportunity?
know.
It's
Don't
not.
ask me.
It's not Apollo.
No, it's opportunity. Opportunity is the Greek god,
That is the God.
and he's pictured a certain way.
Okay, so I thought this was a God that.
No.
Okay.
I'll tell you, a baby.
Really?
And do you know why?
No.
Because a baby starts off with a blank slate.
Close, because opportunity never gets old,
Damn. It don't.
and that's what this story
Everybody
is
want
about.
one.
That's what this story is about.
That just
That opened
low-key
it
blew
up.
my mind. I like that.
It never gets old.
It never gets old.
So at no stage of your development,
Is opportunity ever going to get old?
it never gets old.
That is so true.
You hear that from a lot of people that, experience success at an older age. They don't, it's like your life ain't over until you make it over.
Yeah.
It's like you got to believe, like, even if you 50, I'm going to still be in that movie.
When I was younger, my mom went back to school more times than I could count at one point, and she did that as an example for me because she always gave me the ultimatum: you're either gonna go to college or you're gonna go to college. And she realized that she couldn't be preaching that to me without having done it herself.
Yeah.
And that's why when I see this story, for me, I look at the 24 grandchildren and 17 grandchildren, 24 great grandchildren. That's literally 41 human beings that you have helped create, in this world out here that you get to be an example for, though.
Right.
And you think about how many people those 41, impact.
Yeah.
She's doing a much bigger feat than just graduating college.
And yet she was not fulfilled.
Still.
And yet there was something missing. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And she had the courage at 91 to say, I'm not going to die unfulfilled.
Mm-hmm. Finish what she
I'm going to go to
started.
school.
It's a guy
That's
in my
amazing,
gym who is very motivated. In the gym in my building, every time I go work out, he there, and he got to be like 70.
Yeah.
Well,
I
no,
feel like
he
I've seen him on your story.
actually he got to be like 80.
Yeah, and
He got to
ended
be
up getting it
older.
in.
But I felt like when he was younger, he was a dude that went to the gym all the time and was like, I'm never giving this up.
Yeah.
So every time he work out, people may laugh at him and look at him like he ridiculous for doing that. But I'm like, man, he's still coming.
Yeah,
It
you
take a lot
respect
for
it.
you to get up out of bed. But imagine being 80 years old
Yeah.
going to the gym.
Knowing you don't have to.
Here's the best definition of greatness that you'll ever hear. It's the willingness to look like a fool.
That is.
And as an actor, you definitely have to be willing to embrace
It's the
that.
willingness to look like a fool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy in your building may never amount to anything to anybody,
Right.
but he's already mastered half of greatness.
Yeah.
I already know.
Laugh at me.
I can see it.
Go right ahead.
That's why I use them as motivation. People be laughing in the stories, but I'm like, he motivated me to come to the gym. I'm like, if
'cause
he
it's
can
like,
come,
if he can do it, I
Yeah.
can do it.
Yeah.
No damn excuse. Look, I feel shitty for not going to the gym out here and that. I'm like, I gotta get my ass to the gym tomorrow.
but these older folks, when they take care of themselves, they can do whatever.
Oh, for sure. And anybody can do whatever. It's all mental.
Yeah.
It's like what we were talking about earlier and us putting our own boundaries on ourselves and not realizing what could be out there for us that we don't know. And, we
Longevity.
have such limited beliefs sometimes in what's possible in our lives only because we put them on ourselves and let other people put them on us. And reality
Man,
don't exist.
you know how old you are when it comes to basketball, but look at LeBron.
Yeah.
He almost 40 and he's still out there balling with 19-year-olds that's coming up to him like, you used to play with my dad.
And he said that he was going to do it. He knew. Nobody else believed him. They were like, well, we're going to see that. But now that people are seeing it, who's questioning anything he's saying?
And he don't look like
whatsoever?
he clocking out. He's
Oh,
still
not at all.
dunking.
He's still doing his thing. And, me growing up, I grew up. He's part of the reason that I want to play basketball. I watched him play against my high school when I was in second grade. He played against the school that I was, in the district that I was going to. And to think about how long ago that was, I'm 30 years old now. He was going to the NBA. I think he went to the NBA 2 years after that. I was in 4th grade when he got to the NBA. I am now 30 years old, 20 years later, still watching this man compete with people that are half his age.
My brother is 12, and he has never seen a life with LeBron not going to the finals.
And you
Well,
talk
okay,
about
let's
greatness.
not go into the LeBron thing too.
Hey, we love
too far.
LeBron. Hey.
Okay, he's all right, but we're getting a little crazy.
It's true though, but we're just talking about greatness.
Yeah, but I think the moral of this story is don't try to live your whole life in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Very true.
Are we done?
Yeah, that was the last story. I thought you were gonna add more to that.
No, that's it.
Just,
I'm not. I don't
like
want to
him.
talk. I don't talk about. I don't talk about
Get a drum
LeBron
roll
for 3
at the end of
hours.
it. Don't live your life.
You know
in
that
2
basketball talk be going.
Yeah, Jesus.
He ain't want to hear no more
He was sitting
basketball.
there
That's the other podcast coming on after this one. No.
But no, this was
Hey man,
really
yeah,
fun.
thanks for coming.
Yeah, we
Hey, I
appreciate you,
appreciate it.
Carey,
I
man.
always
If you
like a good talk.
if you want to let the people know where they can watch any of your material, feel free to. He's definitely got some things for you to enjoy and laugh at.
Well, if y'all want to follow me, I am Carey the Legacy. You know, I don't want to throw my name, because I'm still trying to build your following. I can help you with that if you want.
Please
some
do.
help too. Yeah, I feel like this podcast alone gonna be good enough to build your following. So
I'm gonna hug you when this is over. Right off camera. I'm gonna
all
hug
my
you.
social media is Carey the Legacy. That's Facebook, YouTube, whatever social media platform you on. That's my name. Or just look up Carey, because I'm right behind Mariah Carey. So
All right.
Listen, man, you have, like I said, you have a good spirit.
thank you.
You got a good heart, and I wish you well. I wish you
thank
success and greatness beyond social media.
Oh, me too, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
No, and not that that's not success and greatness, but I think that your spirit is greater than your platform.
Oh wow, I ain't never heard that.
No matter how big it is.
I ain't never heard that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you. I
No
appreciate
problem,
that.
man. My
I
pleasure.
like his spirit, and I definitely like yours, and I like what y'all got going on. So keep doing that, because y'all make
Hey.
people talk if they can talk.
Come on.
You gotta be able to talk.
You gotta be able to talk. It's all about communication. That was pretty much the theme for today's show. I feel like communication.
Come back and see us, all right?
Cool, man. Just
Yeah.
send me an invoice. This felt like therapy.
Anyway, thank you for tuning in, everybody. We will see you next time. These two are amazing, and so are you. See you next time.
Yes, sir.
Hey, everybody, thank you for watching. We always appreciate you taking the time to be with us. If you like what you see, and I know you do, make sure you subscribe right here. Like it, share it, become a part of the movement, because this is a movement of joy, good feeling. McMillan and Morrow. Judge that, verdicts. Saying too much right now. What am I saying?